Hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Shane here. Before this episode starts, I just want to give a quick update on our Double After Hours podcast bracket challenge. In 6th place, we have Aaron's Picks 2 with 240 points. 5th place is Aaron's Crazy Auto Picker with 290 points. 4th place is Lord Guskovict Picks 1 with 330 points. My Great Picks in 3rd place with 480 points. 2nd place is Phil's Cool Bracket with 510 points. And in 1st place, we have Felipe the Great's Picks 1. That is all for the update, folks. Thank you for listening, and now, on to the episode.
Double After Hours podcast. Take 1. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Boy, oh boy, do we have a movie for you.
Oh no,
we do.
It's certainly a movie. It's in the title.
I, in fact, said it was the movie that I've ever watched.
Absolutely. Oh god,
It was.
It's certainly the critically acclaimed Jumanji.
I can't believe we're talking about Jumanji 3 early, guys. It's crazy.
Now this is Jumanji 2.5.
2.5. Was it direct to DVD?
Honestly, with how long it's been taking to get Jumanji 3, I'm willing to accept that.
Okay.
That was something else.
Oh, dude.
Yes, it was.
But speaking of something else, we're something else. Let's introduce our merry selves.
That's right. Well, everybody, I am disappointed they didn't use the trailer take in the movie. That made me really sad. But I am Aaron Gresser, and I'm here with Charles Robison.
I'm Charles Robison. I do the socials, and I'm also editing the gameplay stuff. I'm a broken man after watching this movie. Let's just move it along.
Oh yeah, I am too. I think we all are.
I'm Brice Guskovict, and I actually I had a fun time watching this in the theater with one of my childhood best friends. I saw it like first possible showing, 4 p.m. Thursday, sneak preview, Phoenix Theater. I was there. I was proud.
How many people were there?
Locked in.
A surprising amount.
Wow.
The whole town. The whole town gathered around.
My entire village.
Movie.
It was
entire village.
And I'm Shane Sygiel. I went out to my local AMC to watch this movie. It was like Brice said. There was a lot of people at my theater, and when my friends went to go see the movie, at the part where Jack Black said "Chicken Jockey," everybody in their theaters all said "Chicken Jockey," and then they just started applauding, which was the best part.
There was a lot of cheering in my theater.
Wow.
Pretty much every trailer quote, there was cheering. Some people stood, some whistled, some applauded.
There was like none for mine.
No.
The only time people cheered for me was when he said, "I am Steve."
They didn't cheer for Chicken
time.
Jockey?
The greatest quote of all time.
I think I heard a slight chuckle for Chicken Jockey, but I didn't hear much else.
Charlie had the lame theater. No wonder he didn't enjoy it. I walked out of the theater, and there was just a bunch of kids just yelling quotes, and I just walked up to him and yelled "Chicken Jockey," and we all started cheering.
The best quote in cinema history.
This is what happens when we don't draft kids to war. This is the problem.
Slime block.
Big old red one.
They love crushing a loaf.
They love crushing a loaf.
In case it isn't obvious by now, in case you're just stupid, we're talking about the Minecraft movie released in 2025, directed by Jared Hess, released by Warner Brothers. Fun fact, Warner's relying on this to kickstart their reputation back up again. They put a lot of effort in this movie to make sure it's going to be good. Did they succeed? No, but we're going to get into it.
Yes, we are.
Just brief thoughts off the top of the head. I didn't like it. I thought this was just such like a middling movie. Is it the worst movie? Is it the worst movie I've ever seen? No. I honestly think the FNAF movie was a lot worse than this if we're talking about video game movies. But I would argue that this movie is the most like played, safe, generic thing that I've seen in a really long time, which is a massive shame because Minecraft is one of those properties that you can quite literally do anything with. And what did we do? Jumanji 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's what we did. Or I guess in this case, Jumanji 3, because there's 2 series of Jumanji.
No, 2.5.
Two and 3/4. It's Lion King 1.5 featuring Jumanji. Lest I forget the proper title. We'll get into it, obviously, but those are my brief asides.
Yeah.
I'll go next. It was enjoyable. Like, of course, like not one of my favorites. I mean, I still liked all like the references, the Easter eggs, all that stuff, and it was cool to see
Because they announced all of them.
yeah, and how they like interpreted the game in like this real life aspect instead of like making it like an animated film. They just made it all like CGI and stuff, which interesting way of going at it. Of course, some hiccups here and there. I noticed a lot with some of the like the visual effects too. There were some, but I mean, I still enjoyed it. I got some good laughs out of it, good cheering, and yeah, that's what I have to say. How about to the two people in the studio while I'm crushing loaf?
So my thoughts.
Did you really bring bread just for this?
I want to kill him.
I have a whole thing of like a French baguette from Panera Bread.
Okay, so I'm gonna ignore that as a
Hold on.
D1
This is
as a D1 Panera traumatic stress disorder victim.
as we've learned.
As we've learned, I'm gonna ignore that. So I actually enjoyed the movie. I'm gonna be honest. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. The moment I found out it was Jared Hess directed, my faith was restored. Because I didn't know that going in. I saw it on the opening thing and I was like, oh, okay. I feel a lot of it, if I'm being completely honest, was intentional. Like, it was, I feel, more ironic humor of, like, they knew what they were doing because it's Jared Hess, which, for those unfamiliar, Jared Hess has produced such works as Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, and Mastermind. So, to me, Jared Hess can do no wrong. I love Jared Hess, okay? Like, let's get that out of the way. I'm probably very biased. Plus, I wanted to enjoy this movie, but I expected to hate it. And like I wanted there to be a good Minecraft movie, and it wasn't good, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I'll watch it again. I'm probably gonna go see it in 3D with my class on Sunday night. And there was one other thing I felt I wanted to say. Whatever, it'll come to me.
Okay. Well, if we want to talk about depressing theaters, I think MJR Waterford at 11:30 a.m.
Brutal showing.
That just takes the cake. There was, unfortunately, there was no knock it off, stop, sit down, or we're leaving. Unfortunately, there wasn't any of that today.
It was not a Moana 2 experience.
Yeah, there was no feet.
Yeah, no, there nothing like that.
Hello.
Unfortunately, there was. I think it was like there was a family of 4. A family of 3, and like just 2 random guys that just like laughing the whole time and like cracking jokes. I almost went back there to crack jokes with them. It was great.
You showed up.
I don't think I've ever heard. Well, actually, no. I think the honor goes to 9 Lives. That was the most dead theater I've ever been to.
Okay.
That's another movie. That we need to cover because oh boy, man, that movie was bad, but not as bad as this one. And I was sitting in the theater and I just keep seeing Jumanji. It's just Jumanji, okay? Like you got that plot from the back, all right? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me, Warner. Okay? Love you, Warner. I don't want to see you go down like this.
Oh my god. It's just Jumanji.
It's just Jumanji.
But worse.
It's Jumanji, but worse with more. Hey, remember that from the game? Remember that? Remember those characters? Yeah.
Remember that pink sheep that got mauled to
yesterday.
death in the first night sequence?
Yeah.
That was brutal.
Yeah. Like, okay. Cool.
Oh.
It's yeah. I mean the humor we'll get into it later, but the humor, quick thought, it was okay. There was a few bits that I felt bad for laughing at it, but there's just so like dating the villager. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
That had me and my friend Wally in tears because it was so stupid.
Yeah, it was so stupid, but it was so funny.
It only got me at the end in the mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
That was the part that killed me because that
was
joke
pretty
genuinely was funny. But
yeah, I mean, overall, it's very middle of the road. It's nothing I would, it's not going any high rating lists or anything like that for me.
I think it should.
It's just very
It should.
top
It's
10.
gonna sweep the Oscars.
middle
Watch.
of the road. Jokes were funny. Plot was awful. I am Steve.
Well, with that amazing roundtable thoughts, we
It's
got to
no
get into
Nine
quick
Lives, though.
synopsis.
It's no Nine Lives.
no.
That movie.
To be fair,
It's no Hop.
Nine Lives, Eight Crazy Nights. How many movies can we like throw in there that are awful? How many can we do?
A Minecraft movie, so that's technically one.
No, Magnificent Seven. That
yeah,
was
Magnificent
not-
Seven's
that's another
that's
movie.
a good movie. That's a good movie though.
I was thinking about numbers. Okay.
But speaking of numbers,
yeah.
we got to hit these big numbers because we got to get into quick synopsis, and I'm going to take the executive decision to actually do this one
Okay.
because I can't hold it in. I have to. I'm sorry. We did a few rounds of the other boys recently. It's time to step back in and
Pretty well.
Tighten up the
Pretty
man
well.
girdle. Tighten it up.
Shane, this is nothing against you. It's the other two. They went a little too long. It's
Yeah,
time to
Charlie,
get back to
right,
the quick
right.
synopsis is meant to be fast and great. Ladies and gentlemen, let's lock in. So we start with Steve giving us his full life story because that's what this movie is. He's like, you remember, I am Steve. I used to yearn for the mines. And then the old man yells at them, get out! And it's like, yep, that's
Old
this
man
movie.
Bacon.
All right. Why does he yearn for the mines? I don't know, man. Fuck you. That's why. But the point is that he yearns
Dream.
for the mines. And he goes to, and guess what? He grows up and he hates his life. Do we know why he hates his life? It's kind of boring. Do we actually get to see him live it? Nope. Next scene. So he decides the only way to escape it is he has to actually go back to the mines, back to the childhood days of yore. So he does. And guess what? He finds this mysterious crystal and mysterious cover for the crystal. We later find out that's like the Earth crystal or whatever the thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing's the orb of dominance or whatever.
Yeah.
He finds the two things, he combines them together, and he is led to the overworld, the world of Minecraft. And he immediately forms a bond with a doggy dog named Dennis. And for years, they live in there long enough to where Steve's old house is foreclosed on. Very sad, very sad. But
Wah, wah.
the point is, during this whole sequence, is that eventually he is seized by Malgosha, the ruler of the Nether, a piglin who hates creativity. We're going to learn why later, and vows to destroy the overworld and take all the gold. So he has Dennis run in there, take the orb of dominance, run it back to his old house, which for some reason hasn't been foreclosed on, even though at this point it's been established he's been in there for years. But ignore that part. Shush, shush, shush. And the Orb of Dominance is now safe in some random town, which we will focus on in a little later. But we then cut to Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison. He's basically a washed video game pro, so most people on YouTube. So he's sitting there, he's vibing, but then his video game store gets foreclosed on, which, by the way, you're only selling like retro games. Like, I'm not saying retro game stores can't do well, but I am saying it's like most game stores that I've been to that have actually been around for more than a couple of years have the balls to sell a Wii game in there somewhere. So I'm just saying, like, dude, maybe you're just marketing it wrong.
But also, to be fair, when you're living in the town of Chugless, I don't think video games are getting much traction.
But also, it's like, I do agree, but also it's location. It's part of it's location. But the other part of it's like, dude, you're selling like one thing, and like game stores and collectible stores are being being closed down all the time. Like, my guy, just sell a PS5 if you can. Like, it's not that hard. It's like, doesn't mean you can't sell retro stuff. It just means like have something for it. My point is that like this guy's an idiot, but they make that very clear. But he gets an eviction notice, so he goes to a storage auction. He tries to find a rare Atari game. He spends $900 on it, doesn't get it. He's flat broke. He is totally washed up. But then we get two goofy-eyed kids, Henry and Natalie, who moved to this Chugless?
Chugless.
And they moved to Chugless, Idaho, not Iowa, God forbid. They moved to Idaho because Natalie is going to be the social media manager of their thing that has like 75 followers or whatever, the potato chip factory. And Henry has to go to high school there. And wouldn't you guessed it?
His name was, I think it was Chugga the Chip, which made me and Wally cry laughing in the theater.
Something like that. Like a very like SNL sketch kind of name.
A mascot that.
What, you don't want to be named Chugga, Shane? Are you really adverse to that?
Chugga
When
choo choo.
That'll be the name of my first word.
When she chugga on my chips, I go potato. Like, come on, man, make it work. But my point is that their new life starts there. And Natalie goes to the factory. We don't really see whatever she does except for one scene, so whatever. But Henry goes to school and he's like in art class because he's an artist. He's creative, and he gets dunked on because like he was told to draw basically just a banana and an orange, but he gave it a jetpack or whatever. Now he's an idiot. And now he's like, I can build a jetpack according to science. But then he does because cool, I guess. But then like the bullies like cut off the red wire or whatever. And the jetpack ends up flying into the potato factory, hitting the massive potato statue. And the factory now has multiple accounts of property damage. And Natalie's probably out of a job, but we don't really know that yet. And Henry's like expelled or like in trouble or whatever, and like he gets the garbage man to pick him up after the principal is like, well, the good news is nobody died, which okay, that joke was kind of funny, that guy. But the garbage man picks him up after the vice principal like weirdly flirts with him, and then like Jason Momoa is just like, anyone's a fool for divorcing you. Like, what, dude? What the okay,
you can tie me up and what was it, not time it was you can it was you can tie me in a trash bag and take me to the curb any night was the wildest statement.
I gotta say, I
heard after hearing that. I'm just like,
my entire theater was like taken aback and started laughing. And I'm like, I gotta say, that was actually kind of nuts. But he goes back to the game store or whatever because like Jason Momoa is trying to like sell him on life advice and being a mentor or something like that. And because
$50 per hour.
Right. What a rip. And the fun fact about Jason Momoa is like in the whole storage unit thing that he bought earlier, that's because it was Steve's old stuff. That's what had the Orb of Dominance and the Earth Crystal and whatever. So he has those too. So Henry connects both of them together and he's being dragged to the overworld. Naturally, Natalie can't really find him. So she calls upon like the help of the realtor who sells her freaking Henry's home. I forgot her name, but the point is, it was Dawn. That was Dawn. So Dawn and Natalie go to find them. They go to the mines where Steve was earlier, and they find the portal because that's where the orb is leading them to. And they all eventually go into the portal. Oh no! Oh Scooby-Doo!
Through the overworld.
The point is that Malgosha gets alerted that hey, the orb is back here now. Does Malgosha actually do anything to achieve this? No, not a proactive villain at all. We'll get into that. But the point is that
the nitwit villager escapes into the real world.
Right. So Dennis goes back into the overworld, and then the villager escapes into the real world, but we get a couple scenes of freaking the vice principal having a freaking date with the villager, but that's not really that important.
Might I say, I'm so sorry. The last person I hit with my Jeep Grand Cherokee didn't fall in love with me was the funniest line I've ever heard in a movie.
It was definitely a line, but I think I was so like...
So for context, I saw this with one of my childhood best friends named Wally. And me and Wally have always had jokes of like overly specific crimes such as vehicular manslaughter with very specific, like 2001 Chevy Silverado, for example, right? So Jeep Grand Cherokee, I don't know if they gave it a year or not, but just hearing Jeep Grand Cherokee was the funniest thing because I also think it was a sponsor of like Jeep put in money to the movie and they had to get a Jeep Grand Cherokee in there somehow.
I thought it would have been funnier if they drove it into the portal. Have the ultimate like, hey, cars are in Minecraft now because there's jetpacks now. Because why not?
Are there actually?
Might as well. Yeah, they added that in a new update. There's a jetpack now.
Oh yeah, there is.
I give up.
So like, who cares anymore? This is Terraria now. This is survival craft. Throw anything you want. Man. The point is that they go into the overworld. They're kind of memeing around. Jason Momoa tries to make out with a sheep, as you do, and eventually, it becomes night, and all the mobs start showing up. So they're getting chased by the mobs. They're getting attacked. Henry builds a big old tower with all the stuff that he discovers. And eventually, all seems lost. They're about to get jumped by the monsters. But we're introduced to the god of sex, Jack Black, who yells, I am Steve. And my entire theater erupted with claps.
Mine too.
And I'm just sitting there going, I hate everything. What is going on?
So
it's like that one video of the one guy who did a flip when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man came on for No Way Home. And, they replaced it with I am Steve.
Something like that, yeah. So Steve basically says like, hey, because in this whole battle sequence, the Earth Crystal, the thing covering the Orb of Dominance, gets destroyed because Jason Momoa's character is incompetent. Yippee-dee-dee. And they have to go to the Woodland Mansion to get a new Earth Crystal, but in order to do that, they have to go to the village to get supplies. So Steve leads them to the village. And this is where we get a bunch of goofy moments where they like, oh man, look at all the cool stuff the villagers can do. They love crushing the loaf. That's the whole thing. Like, that's right. We get the stupid hot chicken lava chicken song.
Oh, this is the Iron Golem, local security force. But they're a bunch of big softies.
And it's like, yep. Welcome to Minecraft the movie, all right? Like, this is just we're here, man. We're here, and I'm not sure I'm happy, but like, we're doing this.
I was
we're doing this or whatever, and like they're kind of like talking or whatever, and they kind of make it a point that like Henry is like supposed to like really like this world. Do we see that? Not really, but they do tell us. And he's like, like it was like Natalie and like Steve having a conversation where it's like, we need to get back home. We need to stop worrying about this. And then Steve is like, well, Henry is maybe he likes this world more. It's creative. It suits him. But we never really see like that actually like spend like we don't actually see that actually happen, which really sucks because I've seen so many movies where like that is a major plot point. Like in Muppets 2011, they do that thing, like they do the exact same thing where Walter starts hanging out with the Muppets and we actually get to see him having a better time. And then that line happens and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But then we didn't do that here. It's like, anyway, my points aside is that eventually they start looting up and they get jumped by the piglins because they're in the nether. They have General Chungus and they're like, all right, you're gonna get that orb, you're gonna get him. It's like, yeah, big Chungus, haha, funny. And they make it a point earlier that it's like, oh, the piglins can't go into the overworld at day or else they'll get zombified and become zombie pigmen. Haha, get it? And the point but like their solution is like, oh, take this potion we already had. And it's like, come on, like that's so lazy. Like, really? I thought what they were going to do is have them only show up at night. So that way, every time night happened, it was way more of a threat. I don't know. I just thought that'd be cooler. But I was like, nope. All right, cool.
But
here's a
also,
magic potion that solves all our problems.
In Minecraft, Netherwart does make fire resistance potions.
Well, that's I knew it was game accurate, but still just from a plot perspective, it felt so lazy that like the one kind of cool thing about these villains that they couldn't show up at day. So my thought process was, oh, they have to show up at night, but they have to scurry away when it becomes day or like go into hiding or something like that. But then we don't do that. And it's like, it takes away the cool thing about it. It's like, what are we, it just feels lazy. Mm-hmm. But the point is that they start raiding the village or whatever. And naturally, they start kind of holding their own. Natalie, for whatever reason, is really good at fighting. And Steve, Garrett, and Henry get separated because Garrett wants to get a bunch of diamonds in Steve's secret diamond like factory, like hiding place or whatever. And because he's like, as we've established, Garrett is flat broke and he wants to make money in the real world. So they get separated. Natalie and Don end up trying to go to the Woodland Village, despite not having a map and being lost. And the other three go to the diamond mine or the redstone mine or whatever they call it. So, but before that happens, we have a massive chase sequence where they have Electras and they fly through a bunch of biomes in order to escape gas and piglins that are attacking on them. That part was genuinely kind of fun. Like that was probably where the movie felt most Minecrafty and kind of alive.
We're gonna need to go nose to toes.
That part did genuinely kind of make me laugh. Like, and then we get the stupid covered in hot. I have a water bucket release. It's like, I just hate this whole movie is jingling key. Remember Minecraft thing, the movie, and I just want to die. But we see all of that, and that's where they start making their way to the mountain. They have the option of go around it or through it. Garrett flashes the orb in his coat pocket or whatever. Guess we're going through. So they go to the mines or whatever. If I remember correctly, what happens next? Natalie and Dawn discover Dennis because the dog comes back or whatever. And it's like, oh man, lead us to Steve, please. So that's what happens there. Malgosha gets really mad, kills Big Chungus in the nether or whatever. Oh no, not my favorite Looney Tunes character, Big Chungus. This is a Warner property after all. They could have done it. But she kills Big Chungus for being a bad leader or whatever and sends out the Great Hog and puts the brain in so that way they can find Steve. Man. It's like, okay.
Can they add the Great Hog and that Captain Iron Golem to Minecraft, please? I want new bosses.
I would like the Iron Golem thing they did. I thought that was cool. I thought that was kind of interesting, but whatever. But So they go to the mines, right? And like, you know, they find the secret diamond stash. Garrett's like, oh yes, money, money, money. Finally, I can make something myself in the real world. And Henry's like, you're the most selfish person I've ever met or whatever. And they get into the mine carts and like the redstone is empowering them. The redstone is empowering them fast enough to actually get to where they need to be. Like, Steve, you already built this whole thing. Why didn't you just place another redstone thing down? Like, you had this all this time. Like, what? But anyway, my point is that they eventually get stuck because like Steve was like, "Uh-oh, this is my creeper farm," and I'm like, Steve, why would you build your creeper farm on the railroad? Why would you do? That's not efficient. Have you never played the game? Like, what? But. And they end up getting jumped by a bunch of creepers, and the Great Hog's there too, and they're chasing them all down. And it's like, all right, and Jason Momoa has to push them. And they start knocking the creepers around, and big explosions occur, and they start flying towards, like, you know, their destination and such. Yippee-dee-dee, they figured it out. And the Great Hog gets blown up and dies or whatever. Wonderful. And what happens is that they have to eventually get to the mansion. So their solution, after they have a big old yell fest at like Garrett for being like a selfish bad person or whatever, he's like, I'm a loser, I don't have anything, it's like, shut up, we can't have a character moment, we have to plan for the pillager, Steve. And like, so they go into the woodland village, or the mansion, I'm sorry. So they go into the mansion. Their genius solution is that Steve and Garrett are going to distract all of the pillagers by putting on a song. Okay,
one of the funniest jokes in the movie, I'm gonna be honest. The whole birthday suit, so, you know, close your eyes and blow, that was funny.
That was a very strange joke. And I'm like, this is a Minecraft movie. Think about what you're saying. But like, they have a goofy, a real goofy song and dance. And Henry goes up to the top floor after getting away from some pillagers to get the earth crystal. And he digs through a bunch of chests, finds some other cool stuff, including a golden apple, which I thought they were going to use. Didn't. Kind of weird, considering how powerful that item is. And they make it a point, don't look at the Enderman in there. And guess what? There's an Enderman in there. And he stares at Henry, and it's like the classic dream sequence thing where all the characters close to him are like, you will never be great. You will never be this. You will never be that.
Herobrine like, there too.
Yeah. The Enderman turns into Herobrine. This was secretly a ploy. But, and then frickin' he's like, wait a minute. This is dumb. And then he kills the Enderman, gets the Ender Pearl. But during all of this, Jason Momoa and Steve, that they figured out this is a diversion the whole time, and they have to put them in the ring. Jason Momoa has to fight in order to free himself. And wouldn't you know, would you guess what mob they choose to fight Jason Momoa? I'm sure.
Chicken jockey.
Yep, there it is. There it is. The chicken jockey.
Chicken jockey.
It's like
Chicken jockey.
No, just no, please, guys,
Yes, to the chicken jockey.
You have so many mobs to choose from, and you choose the chicken jockey.
It's peak mob.
It should have been an army of chicken jockeys. It should have started out as the one Jason Momoa barely
chicken jockey cartel.
But then you like see up in like the area or like up in the ceiling, an army of crates come down and multiple chicken jockeys fly at him. Like that's way funnier. But like it's just one chicken jockey and then they beat him and it's like, oh no. So eventually they're like,
appreciated
all
the
right,
Nacho Libre reference. That too.
I mean, that was cool, but like this whole movie is referenced the movie, so it's like I don't know, man. But eventually they go, let's skedaddle, and they get out of there. And, you know, cool, I guess. But before they actually do, Malgosha shows up with the Piglin army outside of the mansion. It's like, I'm going to get you, Steve. And the only way they were able to get out is by Garrett sacrificing himself and dying for the cause so Steve and Henry can leave. And eventually they crash land or whatever, and they meet up with Natalie and Dawn in a big old red mushroom house. A big old red one. And...
Big old red.
And it's already been established that Dawn and Natalie have no idea what they're doing in this game, but then they magically just figured out how to build. Okay, cool, whatever. But the point is that they go to this little house and they kind of recuperate, and it's like, oh man, I wish Garrett could have seen this. And like They're trying to have an emotional moment or whatever. And they're like, all right, now, oh no, Malgosha got the orb of dominance from us. That's not good. And the earth crystal too. And they connect it together and they make the whole overworld like the nether. And it's all dark. So that way they don't, burn up in the sunlight without the wart. And they're going to take over the overworld and steal all the gold because Malgosha was bullied as a kid for being able to dance, but the nether wasn't ready, which to me begs the question, you have a whole contest to show off talents in the nether, but they hate creativity. How does that work? Shut up. But the point is that the netherins take over, the piglins take over the freaking overworld. So now the humans have to figure out how to take it back. They come up with some kind of plan, and
they say, first we mine, then we craft. Let's Minecraft!
That was my saddest moment in the theater. That was my Donkey Kong minecart gif, face, coming out in full.
My theater stood up and gave it a standing ovation.
I hated it. I was sitting there going, I know they're going to say Minecraft at some point, but I'm just hoping it's not the dumbest title drop ever.
I heard them say, I'm just like, roll credits.
To me, that's the same energy as when people make jokes about Marvel title drops going, wow, this really is the Age of Ultron. It's in me, it was way worse. It was way worse than that.
Worse than the Fantastic Four title drop, except this one I feel was more ironic.
No, I think the Fantastic Four title, I think that there's going to be another Fantastic Four title drop coming in the movie in July because it's confirmed that Franklin Richards is going to be a kid in this movie and Sue Storm's going to be pregnant. So what I'm predicting is going to happen is that Sue Storm's going to give birth to the kid and he's going to take his first steps and Reed's going to go, wow, he's a member of the Fantastic Four taking his first steps.
Say that again.
It's a really...
And then his first words are just say that again.
Yeah, exactly. He turns into freaking Miles Teller, Franklin Richards, my goat. But, I mean, he probably could do that. But anyway, the points aside, I'm getting distracted because this movie sucks. I don't want to talk about it. But the point is that, fantastic. You're right. Fantastic Four, nothing. Minecraft movie, peak. But anyway, But we get to the final battle of this movie. They end up crafting a bunch of weapons. They craft an army of iron golems, which admittedly was pretty cool. That was probably the most fun thing in the movie. And they put up the boots of swiftness with the iron golem in a very weird crafting combination, I just want to add, but whatever. And they make the swift iron golem or whatever it's called, which genuinely was kind of cool. I didn't know if that was in the games or not, but if it's not, that should be added.
Phil Swift.
I thought that was rad. I thought Phil Swift. Did you say Phil Swift?
Yes.
I heard Phil Swift too.
Hi, Phil Swift here with iron golems. I don't know.
Hi, Phil Swift here with Minecraft
golems.
But they end up fighting the iron golems. They launch an attack. They restore the sunlight eventually. And wouldn't you guess, Garrett comes back. He comes back out of nowhere on a gassed platform or whatever. And they end up defeating Malgosha after all seems to go wrong. Malgosha ends up trying to stab Steve twice, and obviously it doesn't work.
It was actually 4 times.
Four. They broke the rule of 3.
So long.
It's just it was so weird. And they go back to the overworld portal after all seems to be well. And they're like, wow, I guess we got to go home now. You should join us, Steve, and share that creativity that you have in the overworld to here. And Steve's like, all right, guess I will. And they go back home and everything is perfect. Natalie has a Taekwondo self-defense class. Dawn has an animal, exotic pets kind of business she's running. Garrett and Steve end up turning the game shop into something new. And they have a new arcade game. Whoa, how'd they market it? I don't know, man. But Henry goes back to school and is the coolest kid there because he flies in a jetpack because I guess he's just whiter Jimmy Neutron now. That's cool. And we end the movie with them all singing because this is a kid's movie and we all got to know we got to end on a dance party ending, baby. Because we didn't learn.
A dance song coming up. Hit it.
It was
celebration coming on.
It was not as bad as the emoji shuffle from the Emoji Movie, but
in a kids movie when the antagonist is brutally murdered.
It's just that. It's awful. It's just the movie ends, but we get 2 post-credit sequences. We get the first one where the previously mentioned subplot with the principal and the villager when they go on a date. The date actually goes very well. It's revealed that the washed-up art teacher, who's also the gym teacher, was the ex that the vice principal got divorced with, and the villager now speaks fluent English, which I gotta say, that was pretty funny. That joke did kill me.
That was very funny, but I think the funnier part of that interaction was, and she speaks fluent villager.
See, it's like, it's so dumb, but also it's like, that's the kind of joke I would see in Villager News. And it's like, that's the kind of dumb humor I want. And it's like, that part was funny. And then we get a pretty short credit sequence, if I remember correctly. And then we get our last post-credit scene where Steve ends up going back to his old house, who someone else obviously owns because it was foreclosed on and such. And guess who owns the home now? Alex, the other default skin for the girl. What?
That was really funny. I thought a funnier one, like we were all trying to brainstorm what would be the funny end credit scene. Is it was like, we weren't sure before they name dropped Garbage Man Garrett. I was like, his name's going to be Brian, and he's going to turn out to be the plot twist villain. And it's like, you used to be a hero, Brian.
I like that. Brian. I like that name.
Mm-hmm. Either that or like, did you see the one where it's like, what are these, Roblox? Like, just like a stupid cross-game reference.
I forgot about that one. That one's pretty funny.
I remember. I think I saw something about that one, Brice.
Mm-hmm. But I'm going to my friend Freddie's house.
That's the movie.
I got to spend 5 nights there.
Shut up.
Say that again. Wait, how long do you have? 5 nights.
Oh God, FNAF 2. We're probably going to talk about that one too, and the first one.
The trailer came out a few days ago, and it looks really good. They even got they got Wayne Knight as a teacher.
We just can't stop talking about garbage. But
no, but
Wayne
Alex
Knight's
was a very fun post-credit scene, in my opinion. I actually did like the Alex post-credit scene. That was very funny to me.
Yeah,
I'm curious. I think it's an unnamed actress for now because I tried looking it up and nothing could really give me an answer. But for whatever reason, my brain was just imagining Sadie Sink for whatever stupid reason. Because it's like, if I was Hollywood picturing a redhead, that's who I go to right now. Mm-hmm. But also because she was just cast in a Spider-Man thing, so we're going to see how that works later. But that's the movie. That was true quick synopsis. That was quick, dirty, and to the point. But it really was. But we got to get to our wheel. And our first item on the wheel is Mr. Steve himself. Now, listen. I have been talking essentially nonstop for a while here. So Brice, Shane, I'm going to need y'all to really gas us up. What are your thoughts on Steve,
firstly,
the titular man?
To mention this. This is what I wanted to mention in my quick thoughts in the beginning, and I remembered what it was. I really did appreciate the Technoblade reference.
I actually forgot where it was.
That was when they were first entering the village. There was a pit wearing a crown, and the kid goes, Shane, and the kid goes, is this a king? And he goes, no, he's a legend.
That's what that was. I was so curious on what that was because I didn't go anywhere because I did not grow up on Technoblade. I grew up on like Stampy. So it's like my brain just kind of forgot. Either,
but my brother appreciated Technoblade and I had a lot of friends in my class that did. So for me, that definitely was a very nice touch.
That was a cute reference.
Especially he did pass away within the last, 2 years now, I believe?
Yeah.
I believe it was my sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
2 years now. That was a very nice reference. But other than that, my thoughts on Mr. Jack Black. So for those who don't know, apparently the way it was supposed to work was Jack Black was originally supposed to either play a talking pig or General Chungus. It's not really clear which it was supposed to be. I believe it was just supposed to be a talking pig that would like guide our random hodgepodge protagonists through the overworld in their adventure.
I kind of like that idea. That's kind of funny.
What is it? Pork Chop from Minecraft Story Mode, I believe.
Yeah, but he didn't talk in that, did he?
He didn't, but it would still be like, even if his name was Pork Chop, it would be a fun reference. But then eventually, halfway through, they were like, hey, why don't you play Steve? And then he just put on a blue shirt and called it a day. But it definitely, before I found that out, it definitely just felt very stunt casty because they're picking Steve to be Jack Black and they're adding Jason Momoa as some random incompetent guy who can't get out of the 80s.
Right.
And that definitely got on my nerves, especially at the beginning. I was like, there's no reason. These two characters could be played by anybody. But over the course of the movie, I was like, okay, Jack Black's delivery of these lines, these ironically bad lines, I think is very funny. Jason Momoa, I don't know. I don't feel
He's there.
I don't feel it needed to be. Listen, I love Jason Momoa. I do love him. I just don't feel he needed to be in this movie.
Yeah,
Especially given
I was
they
just
didn't
kind of
actually
sitting there
give him a
going like,
Especially given in none of the songs did they give him a guitar solo. And by the way, Jason Momoa was a killer guitar player, and they didn't give him any time to really show
that's why
his
he's
set.
perfect to play Lobo. He can play the guitar as well.
Yes, there were clips of him and Jack Black jamming out like on set and stuff. Actually, just having fun jamming together on their Gibson guitars, and I was like, wow, is this going to be in the movie? Guess what was not in the movie? Yeah,
it was not.
But overall,
Well, I mean, did they not do some guitar stuff at the end in this dancing
They
sequence?
did. They both
but it
did.
wasn't Jason
Okay.
Momoa
Oh, okay.
or Jack Black. Actually, I don't think. I think it
Okay.
was just like whoever was behind the Minecraft soundtrack having Jack Black sing. It wasn't Tenacious D.
Right, because Tenacious D broke up. So, Shane.
I think Jack Black did a pretty good job. Good job as Steve, just having that like quirkiness of Logan and all that. Just I think he played the role really, really well, and also just he took the time just to study what Minecraft is. And when we first saw that he was going to be Steve, he just posted a photo of him reading a book about like Minecraft for beginners or something like that. So
Minecraft for Dummies.
yes, that's what it was. I remember seeing I thought like Jason Momoa would be Steve in the Minecraft movie, but then it got flipped, and I'm like, oh, this is an interesting take. We'll go
The
for it.
ultimate Chad playing Steve would have been so funny, but alas.
But alas, he should have been the hero, Brian.
It should have
Stop.
been me, not him.
That's me!
So,
Oh my god.
Charlie, Shane, you want to go into more depth on your thoughts?
I haven't even given mine yet, so.
But I mean, like
Charlie-
we've shared like a brief minute here, but I'm saying like you
Oh,
two more
yeah.
in depth. I'm gonna pass the mic.
But my thing with Steve here is that like I'm not saying that Jack Black is Steve. It's like it's stunt casting, sure, but I don't believe that stunt casting is a one-way ticket to failure in that regard. Like there's plenty of stunt castings that has like proved like something valuable. So it's like I'm like sitting here going here like you have Jack Black, you could do something interesting with that. And when the movie was starting, I thought that's what they were going for. Like that whole intro sequence where Steve is explaining everything and like he's explaining about his past life. My problem with that was that it felt too short. Like I felt like if you're trying to sell this character hating the monotony of day-to-day life and how uncreative it is, which is a pitch. Like I'm not sure it's the pitch I would have went with, but you know what? You can build a story around that. And I'm sitting there going like, okay. And we barely see Steve in his regular life at all. And what I mean by that is like they have a cut where like after he's a kid, he grows up and he goes to like an office job or whatever, selling doorknobs. And the problem with this sequence is that we don't get to hang on what is about Steve's life that is so monotonous, which sounds like a bit of a nitpick, but it is really important to inform like how bad his life is that he would want to give it all up, go to the mines and start crafting jokes and all. We didn't hang on that at all. So I have no idea what his life like, what his adversity was. All of that stuff you would want to establish about a character before we get to him going to the new world. It'd be like if you told the story of Star Wars, like New Hope, but we didn't focus on Luke going to Tadashi Station to get those power converters, how he has to stay for another cycle of the farming. It's like if we didn't do anything focused on that, but we cut straight to the Obi-Wan showing up. You see what I mean? Like we're missing some fluff here. And then he goes to the overworld. And overall, I didn't think it was awful. Like again, I'm still a little like Jack Black is Steve. Like, okay, sure, whatever. But like Steve is like such like he's literally has no personality traits to him. That's the point. He's supposed to be your player's avatar, your surrogate. So he's made like that on purpose. But also it's like, I feel like we didn't tell the story of Steve being a man-child and kind of escaping into Minecraft as well as we could have. And there's a lot of other better videos that like I've also kind of went into that. Like I know Film Theory did a video about like them predicting the plot of the Minecraft movie a few months ago that kind of says what I'm saying a bit. But it's frustrating because I think the bones of what could make an interesting Steve character arc is here, but largely I don't think they were utilized to the fullest potential. Also in the sense that I never really felt like with some other characters to a regard, because like honestly, I think most of the other side characters in this movie are really bland. Like, and that's my problem with it, is that like you have Minecraft here, a sandbox of opportunities, and it kind of feels like we just itched the surface, not even scratched, just kind of like itched, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there going with Steve, like he's supposed, like him being our guide to this world. Yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty logical. But also it's like, I don't know. I just felt like I didn't really get enough of his backstory and deal to really feel for him. Also, in the fact that he is basically in one mode the whole movie, that is joke mode, kind of makes him feel not that dynamic of a character, which was very frustrating. Like, I know like you have Jack Black, but like Jack Black is a good actor. It's not like in Kung Fu Panda he was only telling jokes. He could genuinely sell some emotion with his voice performance there. Or in something like School of Rock, he wasn't always telling jokes there. He was doing a lot. I feel like we kind of flanderized what Jack Black was what the fun of this guy is. Heck, even in the Mario movie, he gave a killer performance as Bowser, and I'm not even the biggest fan of that movie. Like, it's frustrating because I know this character could be better. I can see the bones of what they're trying to do, and I just feel like we didn't get there.
Like, it could have been done better is what you're trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I mean,
no,
yeah.
I was actually thinking that in the theaters. I was like, of all the things they could have done, they've got the Ender Dragon, they've got the Nether. They could have worked in a million ways with, and this is what they went with. Like, kind of the Wither. Yeah, they even made the joke about the Wither. Like, I definitely can understand where you're coming from. Even the what is it? The Warden, that new cave creature.
Yeah, the Warden. They could do that.
Like, especially if you're talking about how much you love the mines. Maybe that could have been a.
Right, like it felt like they didn't even they barely mind. Like obviously part of that is like putting all of Minecraft in a 2-hour movie is virtually impossible. So I'm not saying they're going like they should have went to the end. They should have fought the guardian creatures in the sea. I forgot their names, but
Elder Guardians.
The Elder Guardians or whatever. Like they should have fought the Wither. I think them going to the Nether is fine. It's more just like. It felt like with so much of this movie, and especially with Steve particularly, so much of it was like, I know this, Ender Pearl, release! It's like, I felt like I didn't have to watch him. Like, and partially it's because I think with that particular character, like obviously he knows a lot of things, so it's like, do I need to watch him earn it? And that's more of a conversation on just like some other stuff too that we're going to be getting into. But next up on the wheel, which speaking of the Nether, we're going to get into it, missed potential of the villains.
I feel like they could have done something like regarding like the Wither and stuff, but because like they're trying like they have the movie base like have the like obviously like the only two realms like Overworld and Nether, and they had like the piglins and stuff. They still could incorporated the Wither, like have like Wither skeletons in the background, or like them like trying to like they learn about the Wither and about how it's a powerful creature that they can bring to the Overworld and it could cause massive destruction and stuff like that. But like I feel like Genosha, is that her name?
Malgosha.
Yeah, Malgosha, that's what it was. But I mean, like she was fine, I guess, as a villain. Could have done a little bit more with her, like more destruction, like her like scrolling through pages. She reads some about like the Wither, or like more about like the world, like the end, the stronghold, Ender Dragon, all that stuff. But like, and also having like that, like the Great Hog too is like they're like, it just didn't feel right to me, at least. Like I'm just like, really, Great Hog.
I can understand that, and yet again, I mean, if they had the Great Hog to actual Minecraft, that'd be cool. But also,
I know there's sorry, you go first.
No, yeah, my fault. Here's what you do. If you want to have Malgosha, you kind of flip the rules around a little bit. You take Malgosha to be, instead of General Chungus or the Great Hog, you make Malgosha the weapon, right? And you allow for the Wither, say, to be the mastermind, let's just say, right? 3 heads, can think, can mastermind. I don't know. Just bear with me here. Just bear with me. Instead of
listen.
inventing a bunch of random characters, because I see Charlie's facial expression. Malgosha is the weapon trying to get the crystal for the Wither. Maybe Malgosha is just a witch or a higher-born piglin. I don't know. You know,
There was no witches in this movie. That was kind of weird.
that also was weird. The closest thing we got was some random pig. So, you know, you can tie a little more Minecraft into the actual movie, I feel, especially in the villains. Like I mentioned, you could have done the Ender Dragon or the Warden, and this is how you choose to approach it is kind of...
To me, what made Malgosha weird is that it felt like she wasn't proactive enough, if that makes sense, where like you have this whole character. I'm going to compare her to Hades from Hercules, not because of the same character, but largely because they're both characters you need some kind of MacGuffin or a prophecy or whatever to kind of like get the ball rolling. But the difference is that Hades in the opening of Hercules was already making decisions. He went to the party with the gods. He tried to have Pain and Panic, like have Hercules drink the serum that would take away his godly status that ultimately made him a demigod. Like he tried to do things. He didn't just sit there and wait for the plot to happen. He was the one actively making decisions in the start of the movie. While with Malgosha, I think where we're all really getting stuck here is that Malgosha doesn't really make decisions. She's more reacting decisions made by the heroes. It feels like she's not doing enough. And also because I think her backstory is really weak. And also when you ask about it for 2 seconds, doesn't make sense. Like if she wants to hate creativity, that's fine. I think that's an angle and can further tie into the escapism reality of Minecraft, that if you have this whole world built around creativity, then these other people who feel good about bullying the people like the piglins who aren't creative makes them feel more secure about themselves because they were bullied in real life. Because they do try to make that connection where creative people get bullied, not in the overworld. Like they're kind of trying to do an angle here, which I thought was kind of interesting, but they dropped it like this movie does. I think the problem here is that like you established that she's like, oh, you know, she had these crazy dance moves, man, that the Nether wasn't ready for. But like if the Nether wasn't ready for creativity or dance moves like that, then why would they have a contest for it?
Yeah.
Like to me, that doesn't make sense at all. Like to me, it's like if you want to like sell her being frustrated about something like this, she should be doing it in secret and then it gets found out and now she's punished for it. You know, something like that. That more sells the message of society is ultimately gonna like laugh at you no matter how crazy. Like, it's something like that. Just like felt like very strange because they make it such a point that all the piglins want to do is mine gold and like mouth breathe. But they stop and have like this it was a really dumb move that I thought was really strange. But also because Malgosha feels like she never gets a win in this movie, in the sense that like she's a mustache twirling like, grr, I'll get you next time, Steve. But like her lackeys suck. They're not intimidating. General Chungus kind of sucks. Isn't really that funny. Gets dunked on the whole movie. She kills Garrett, quote unquote, but then he comes back. Like she never gets a win, you know?
Yeah.
And I know part of that is because like we're supposed to laugh at her and like she is supposed to be kind of a joke, but it's like you can make a movie villain threatening and also have moments where they lose and win at the same time. Like Hades gets dunked on a ton during Hercules as well. There's a great scene where after Hercules kind of like has his rise to stardom, he's like yelling Paul and like he's shooting stuff in the air with this fire and he's getting really mad. Like, but then eventually the movie does give him that win where he takes away Hercules' demigod status. And like there's that whole moment there. Well, with Malgosha here, the characters never really have that moment either, because for one thing, Natalie and Dawn just essentially stand in the corner at the final battle and do nothing.
Like,
and they still win. Like, just like, oh, golly gee, this is so sad. Oh, we won. And it adds to this feeling that this villain just isn't good. And I'm not sitting there going, it needs to be a game accurate villain. It needs to be the Wither. It needs to be Aghast. It needs to be the Ender Dragon. No, I think if this is going to be a franchise, you save the Ender Dragon, because that's the thing that people really want. But to end my point, it felt like the villains were very not proactive in this movie.
Per se.
That's what really... Lackluster. They weren't that funny. They were kind of pathetic. They were just there. Like, they're no Pain and Panic. You know, they're no Iago. They're not top tier.
They're no Eggman.
Not even Eggman. Not even Bowser. Just kind of weak. That's what I got to say.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I can also attest to the whole saving the other villains for like future movies. Like, here's my an idea pitch for the second Minecraft movie. Like, there could be something like that happens in the overworld, and like some like they're like the mines or something, or like Steve gets a vision about the Ender Dragon, so everybody meets up, including Alex. They go to the overworld and they start looking for the stronghold and killing Enderman to find to open up the portal to the end. They get to the end. They have their equipment ready, and they fight the Ender Dragon. They win, collect the egg, and then go back to the overworld because Steve had a vision where the Ender Dragon was going to destroy the overworld and stuff, and the Endermen are taking stuff, like brainwashing people and everything. Literally 1984. Just turn Minecraft 2 into Minecraft 1984, and that's your movie.
Go from Jumanji to George Orwell. I like it.
You know what? It's certainly a pitch. I'm not sure, because to me it's like, I feel like you saved the end for the second movie, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And then
maybe for the third movie. Sorry, like you say the end for like the last movie, because it's quite literally the end. Where do you go past the end? You know? But I don't know. To sum up all this nonsense short, the villains kind of stunk.
I agree.
But next thing on the wheel, we've got the references.
I did like the references, like because one of them that obviously stuck out was, well, there was the Dan TDM during the storage what's it called, auction.
Wait, what?
He was there. Obviously Technoblade.
Hold on. Did I miss Dan TDM?
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't remember that.
He was in the storage auction. Did you not see it? He was like,
no way.
He was
my
on the
theater would have been cheering.
Seconds.
For like a couple seconds?
A couple seconds.
No way.
But yeah, he was there.
What? That's so lame. That's like at least Matt Pat got to say a couple words. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was there for just like a few seconds, and then that just went on from there.
That's stupid. He should have been able to, it's Dan TDM. He should have been able to see like a couple words at least.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have Stampy in the movie as well.
Yeah, no Stampy, no Iballistic Squid. To my knowledge, no Dan TDM. I didn't see him anywhere.
What do you mean? No Sky does Minecraft. I'm crying.
Trying to figure out other references, other small references in the Minecraft movie that
Well, the problem is that they yelled them all.
Well, obviously, and then the Technoblade one, that's obvious. Herobrine too, with Jack, with the Enderman vision.
I didn't even catch that. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, I guess so. His eyes were glowing, so technically, but
it was Jack Black. It was his eyes were glowing purple, and then they shifted to a white hue for just a little bit, and then it went on to the other characters in that little scene.
It was just because I was trying to spot a couple of things, and for the most part, I thought the references they tried to really put as much Minecraft stuff in this as possible, but I feel like they threw in a golden apple when they were in the woodland village and trying to find it. It's oh, that's kind of cool. I know that item, it's pretty powerful, but then they do nothing with it, and I'm like, well, what the heck, man?
I didn't
and
know
also
the woodland mansions were a thing.
Really, you didn't play that update?
No.
What?
Every time I join, I feel like there's some random new thing. I was playing with my one friend over Christmas break, and there was amethyst and copper and everything, and I was like, "What is this? Raw materials? What is this?"
Gotta make more stuff for the game, but I don't know. It just felt like with this movie, it was I think it could have weirdly enough, it needed a little more. You know,
if you were to watch the movie a second time, you could probably find other references.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure there's something that I didn't find.
Sunday.
But it just kind of felt unlike the Mario movie or even the Sonic movies to some degree, where I could look around and go yes, here is a reference to this part of the game's history. Here's something kind of cute here. it felt like they were almost just kind of like, if like the fact that like all of us have kind of grown up in that generation that like knew about Dan TDM and kind of like knew about, you know, like Minecraft YouTubers were kind of like our thing. The fact that like we didn't even notice arguably one of the most famous ones of them all is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And that to me, that more just shows like, are you guys ashamed of this? It's like, what are you trying to hide? It's the Minecraft movie. Like, what are you going to do? It's like, I don't know. I think what part really kind of messed me up was like, I felt like at least with references and like kind of iconography, there should have been more sound effects, if that made sense. Like there should have been more Minecrafty sound effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like not too many.
But what kind of frustrated me is that I think part of the fun of what could have made this movie interesting is the fact that for every large action, it could have been somewhat undercut by like maybe the lever still makes the very simple noise it does in the games. It's like, so like when the lava chicken scene happens, it's not a big like up frontal like whoosh, the lava destroys the chicken. It's like and then boom.
Yeah.
Like,
or
you can use it.
TNT, like the explosion sound effect. Like
you can use it to kind of undercut in an interesting way. Like that's what I thought they were gonna do.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
They had that opportunity, but they didn't take it.
Even the creepers didn't have their normal sound effects.
yeah, and it was like that's like the most iconic mob in the game. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah. From like a terrible thing that happened to a pig turned to a monster in development. It's iconic. They should have done it.
It's like, why does the skeleton look like he's gonna jump me? It's like he's got such a goofy grin. Like those skeletons look like they're White Sox fans. I feel really bad for them. Like they look like they're gonna jump.
Part of like either the Bloods or the Crips.
I'm showing you all of those skeletons were Bloods. Easiest answer in my life.
I can see it. The villagers are part of the Crips.
I'm also gonna be honest,
villagers.
I think the spiders were the only well-animated mob in this entire movie.
They kind of looked cool. Those looked rad. I like the spiders, but
Spider
I don't know, man.
jockey!
Like, no. I'm just so frustrated. I'm just like, this movie could have been peak. Well, maybe not peak, but like it could have been funnier. But it's like, man, why didn't I not see a painting with one of the Minecraft paintings somewhere on that wall?
Yeah,
You know?
was a bunch of there were music discs. I noticed that.
How come there was no leggings for the armor?
I feel like they were. They're like the shin leggings, but I can see what you mean by like
full set.
The full set looks so goofy. I'm gonna be so honest. I'd been crying.
It looked awful.
It looks weird.
It was trash-tastic, bro.
And this is what I kind of mean is that this movie is very like, and part of this is with the presentation, which we'll get to in a couple seconds, but part of this movie just kind of feels like it's not as revelatory in Minecraft as other video game movies are or shows are in their source material, which is really unfortunate because I think with a massive game like Minecraft, which is one of the biggest games of all time, you have an opportunity here to just make such like an interesting love letter, and you just kind of did like all the iconography people could expect and just chicken jockeyed away from it. And it's like, I'm usually not the one saying I need all the references, but like I think like because that's what makes this world interesting, and like some of that iconography is what makes it the overworld different from just green screen land USA. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good way of putting it.
But we're halfway through, but we got 3 more, and next up we've got the non-stop jokes.
They were just going on and on. It felt like I was watching like the Teen Titans Go in Minecraft episode.
I wouldn't go that far. I think that's a little because for one thing, Teen Titans Go occasionally has a good joke, but also it's like I feel like with this movie, it's like we're only ever in one mode, and that's like flint and steel, like joke mode. It's like what if we like we just have to announce everything, and like it's just.
Slime block.
Like, I was like, he had one of those the whole time. I was just like, I don't know, man.
Release.
I think this is what happens, that we have to resort to yelling the things because like that's just like all the movie really
Chicken
has.
jockey.
Yeah, it's like chicken jockey, haha, funny. But also it's like there's only one type of joke and it's like observational humor. If that makes sense. Like all the characters are like, I don't think that's how that works, or this world is strange, or that was weird. It's like, man, these jokes are all like the same flavor. It's like, I don't know. Am I tripping? Like, what do y'all think? Like, what are y'all's big thoughts?
Here's my deal. It's what was supposed to be a kids movie based on one of the most iconic video games of all time, right? You're trying to keep it lighthearted. You know, obviously anybody with a brain knew Jason Momoa didn't die in that one scene. So I think there were too many to the point where it's like when you're it's like comedians, right? You got to like time it because you don't want every word you say to be a joke or a pun or something quick, right? Because you want it to be like, okay. And then when the funny hits you, you're like, oh, wow, that's really funny, right? To really dedicate what you're trying to make funny instead of just every other word you say is either chicken jockey or they love crushing a loaf or, you know, release. You don't want every single line to be one of those, which is what it felt like it was. So I feel if you took out maybe, I don't know, maybe even just 15% of the unnecessary humor in the movie, it would be a very funny movie.
Oh, definitely. Agree.
I can see that.
Because you've got the whole chase scene where, you know, Jack Black is riding Jason Momoa and pulling his hair, followed by the nose to toes. That was a very funny scene. But then, you know, in the next scene, it's like Jason Momoa was trying to push him in a minecart and he's screaming like a little girl. You know, there's just too much, you know. Which I guess obviously is in our category, hence nonstop jokes. So I feel if you just cut out maybe 15, maybe even 20% of the jokes, but you'll have a really much more well-rounded movie, in my opinion.
I feel like 20% is a good number to like say like okay like to like remove the jokes.
I also think fundamentally the movie didn't pick and choose its spots very well with the jokes. Like I think the part where it most irritated me was after Jason Momoa quote unquote dies, and it feels like we maybe get 2 seconds to quote unquote mourn him, and then it's like, all right, back to Jokeland USA. Yeah, and it's like, man, do our characters really care? And it creates this tone of like, if no one seems to like feel like they're ever in like a moment of like distress or like serious without some sort of joke, it's like, do I care? It's the classic thing of if your characters don't care about the story or like don't care about this character death or this big important moment, then why should I? And I know as goofy as it is to say that, oh, the characters are going to have a pivotal death scene in the Minecraft movie. But like, I get why like that sounds stupid. But also it's like, if you want people to take this movie seriously, you have to have some kind of moments of stress where there's no jokes. It's why the Lego movie works so well. Because even though that movie is also a lot of jokes and it's really funny, there are the moments where they do slow down. Emmett gives the special speech. And like, even though I know that clip has been memed to hell and back, but like, that is a genuinely serious moment for the context of that movie. And it's allowed to slow down.
But that's also what I'm saying is if you take out maybe 15, 20% of the jokes, you can make that slow down type, right? Which is... Right. So, like, I mean, obviously we're fundamentally agreeing on this. It's just like there were simply too many when every other word you're trying to say is either a one-liner or a quip or some stupid announcement of whatever you're doing. Then, yeah, your movie is bound to fail in the terms of tonality, you know?
Right. But that's all we got to say for jokes. Are we feeling anything else before we move on to our last two?
I'm feeling like crushing a loaf.
Shut up.
One more piece of my Panera Bread baguette.
Do not mention the unholy bread bakery known as the P word.
It's the P word in this house.
Bread. Brice, next time I'll take you to Panera Bread.
I mean, I'm not going to stop you. I still love Panera. So, like, if you want to buy me Panera sometime when you come back, I am all for it.
Dude,
rats.
would.
Absolute cinema.
a lot of what's happening right now is pretty visual. But speaking of the visuals, we got to get to arguably the movie's most divisive element, the visuals. Now, Shane, you were on the record of this episode saying the visuals were not that bad, and like
some of them were kind of iffy. It was kind of like how when we talked about Captain America: Brave New World in that end part, Charlie, if you remember that with the sun, I noticed that in some of the scenes, it kind of just felt off to me for a bit, just because I know that's like something that like clicked into my head, but like everything else like looked really good. Like the environmental shots of the overworld, the Nether, everything looked good. It looked good about it, but there were just like the small bits of them, like I think like 10% were just like some of the lighting just felt different. Because you guys know me. I work with cameras and stuff, and like we always work on like knowing like having like the good lighting in like certain areas and all that, especially for like with movie like our short filmmaking for a class and all that. It's important to have that special lighting, and I just felt like some of the parts obviously were just like CG or not CGI, but like green screen. But it just fell off to me in some parts, is what I'm saying.
I think what made the visuals weird for me is that, like, listen, full cards on the table. I hate how this movie looks. I just think this was the wrong way to make and I'm not saying that in the pretentious way of like, you could only do things the one way, but I am saying it's like with this movie in particular, with the Minecraft movie, and so much of what they're trying to sell me on in this plot is that this world is fundamentally different from the world they used to know. It feels like the world, the overworld at least, is like really ugly compared to like what I think it should be, because a lot of what Minecraft's charm is based in is that it's a game that looks like it would run on your Microsoft computer in 1995. You know, and we say that in the best way possible. Mm-hmm. It's why the game is stuck on for so long. It's not because it's the most visually impressive game out there, even though there's mods and shaders that can really do that. It feels like it's the game that can stand the test of time, even though maybe its visuals are quote unquote dated because they're that charming and simple. So when we get to this movie and we're trying to kind of over detail some of the other aspects of this movie, like something like the villagers or the llamas or the pigs and the sheep, it feels like we're kind of missing the point of the game, which is why when this trailer came out and everyone's big thing was, why wasn't it animated, like traditionally animated, not this 2D, 3D hybrid? It's because part of the fun of Minecraft is that simplistic charm. And I think the movie ultimately missed that. It's why the Mario movie was so successful, because they didn't try to do it in live action. They already tried and failed that once before. But because they made it 3D animated and actually sold it like it was. My pitch for this is that I don't think all of this movie should have been animated. I think you could have had your live action sequences in the beginning. But what they should have done is that Steve goes to the overworld. We don't see what he looks like yet. Then we get our plot stuff with Garrett and all the other guys. Then when we get to go to the overworld, then we're transported into the traditional Minecraft animation style. That would have been way more striking, because what the filmmakers want us to do is that they want us to look at the normal world and the overworld and see how different are these, yada, yada, yada. I get that. And if you want to make it not exactly like the games and update some of the models and make it a little more detailed, that's fine too. But it feels like we're playing in this really weird Who Framed Roger Rabbit territory, where that movie fundamentally understood the fun of animation and live action working together, because they didn't sit there and change a character like Mickey Mouse's or like Bugs Bunny's designs to fit the real world. It was funny because that movie juxtaposed them being in the real world. And like, you see what I mean? It feels like this was the wrong hill to die on, because a lot of this movie's charm and selling point relies on how much you like the overworld that you're in. And because most of it looks bugly, it just feels like it's not selling me hard enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I get what you're going.
Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of get my head around that, because I'm trying to think of how would they have made it an animated movie. And I guess I can kind of see what you're going with Who Framed Roger Rabbit. From that perspective, yeah. Or even if you want to keep the live action in the Minecraft, like, don't make it a CGI world, rather make it an animated world, right? Because you can already see in a lot of ways how the live action and the Minecraft kind of, in a sense, I guess, clashed. Not like a bad way clash, but like, oh, the Minecraft armor didn't look right on Steve, and the villager didn't look right in the real world, right? So you can kind of keep that, but instead of CGIing everything and trying to make it this really weird whatever they did, you make it just more cartoonish and animated. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I remember like in like the early concepts for the Minecraft movie, it was going to be like animated and stuff, and it was still going to have all that, like that whole aspect to it, but still have a little bit of like little realism to it, almost like a texture pack in a sense. But they like it was something else the way that they went with this, is what I'm saying.
Oh boy, yeah.
Well, alrighty, gang. We got one last thing on the wheel, which we kind of already talked about a little bit before, but we're going to go back into it here. We've got the lost potential of the plot. And I know I kind of already talked about this just a little bit, but the part of this movie that frustrates me the most is that a lot of people when this movie was announced, because fun fact, this movie's been in development for a really long time, since like 2012, 2014, 2015. Like originally Steve Carell was supposed to be the star of this. Like we have been trying to make a Minecraft movie for a very long time. And this is what we put out. And also be part of this is that just like, hey, we've been doing this for a really long time. But also the other half is that like, this is what we came up with, you know? And I'm not saying because I think you could make a movie about Minecraft. I actually don't think it's that hard. Like, I'm not saying that because I know better, but I am saying that because I think where a lot of people get stuck is that, oh, Minecraft is a limitless game. You can kind of do everything with it. That's very not advantageous to a lot of people. But I think the direction they tried to go in here could have been something. Like they tried to make Jack Black more of a man-child and how Minecraft was his more of escape from reality. I think there's an angle there. Mm-hmm. I really do. I think that actually could have been something interesting. My point is that I think this movie ultimately went in too many different directions and didn't narrow in on one thing. Like that's to me where the plot frustrates me the most.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like it just had like too many like moving parts in it with like a lot of stuff to remember, and then like at the end everything all just comes together. I feel like
it's not an anti-moving parts. It's more just like, to me the moving parts just weren't fleshed out enough.
Yeah, that I can see that. Like I feel like they could have done like a little more with the story, more info, like you said earlier about like learning more about Steve's past and everything like that, and how like of his life. I feel like that would have been better for the movie.
Right. I don't know, Mr. Brice, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of still going to stand on my thing. I think the biggest missed potential wasn't necessarily the story. I think it was more so the villain and the antagonist of the movie, I think was the biggest missed potential for story, right?
Okay.
Because really in a lot of movies, I feel especially in this movie, the antagonist kind of directs and navigates the story, right? Like if you take like any of the Dark Knight movies and you interchange the villains, they don't necessarily make sense. Right? Even if you try to keep, you don't have to keep the exact story, but you can keep it pretty baselined, right? It doesn't make sense necessarily. So that's just my example. But if you take this and you create, I still forget her name, Malgosha, that's it. You take her and you just make up this character with a made up general and a made up great hog. And that is what you're going with for one of the most well-established video games in history. I feel you're kind of bound to fail and just you're destined for doom on that, right? Versus if you take, say, not even doesn't have to be the Ender Dragon, but like I said earlier, the Warden or the Nether or the Elder Guardian or so many other lovable Minecraft villains. Even if the point of the movie is to stop the pillagers from coming in, I don't care. Like you can take so many things and it's just you've guided the story in the wrong direction fundamentally from the beginning. The other thing that I'm just realizing right now is in the beginning of the movie they had the whole like Steve is going to betray like, the people,
generating world stuff.
Well, no, I was going to say Steve is supposed to betray his comrades, but then immediately they double back on that.
Yeah.
That was really weird. Instead of just having Steve make an escape, it was, do it for the dog, and then they go to kill him anyways. So they
I think what also frustrated me was that, to me, this was a story about, like, as silly as it sounds, the value of creativity and what they can kind of do to that person. And they make it such a point that, like, the young kid Henry is supposed to be like this creative kid, and like society is really battering him down. He's just like Malgosha, in the same way that they didn't appreciate her creativity. But we never sit these characters down and actually have them talk about that at all. To me, that was the biggest missing element of this movie. Is I think the message they're trying to sell, if it's been done before, whatever. But again, listen, there's no new story under the sun. There's just new ways of telling it. I think what this movie fundamentally got wrong is that we never had that confrontation of ideals here with these characters, because so much of it was dedicating itself to jokes, but we didn't actually have like a genuine, like, heart-to-heart conversation between some of these characters, which to me is where ultimately it failed, is that they make it such a point that, like, Henry and his sister and that whole dynamic is so important, but we know nothing. Like, we really don't know much. And it's like, if you're gonna sell me on that's like the emotional core of your story, you're not doing it well at all. Like, it's just not there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, I don't disagree with that really at all.
So do I.
As I've done this review, I have come to like this movie less.
See, this is the problem, that when I go to college for this, is that I just ruin things.
You will never ruin Cars 2 for me, though. That I refuse.
We'll ruin it again.
Well, we've been going for a while, boys. Haven't you say? Unedited time is probably a little longer than what this is going to be, because we've had a couple of technical difficulties. Oopsie poopsie.
Yeah.
But I think this is where we're probably going to draw this to an end. So I think we need to give our final closing thoughts.
Well, JDs and Lentilmen, I have been Brice Guskovict. Thank you all for mining and crafting it up with us on this episode. We appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys very, very much for listening to this, and also hearing our opinions about the movie, and like talking about our own critiques about it. The Minecraft movie, in its own thing, it's something else. Like, of course, the younger generation might like it, yes, but for the older people who've played Minecraft from like the beginnings, might have some critiques to it. But it's still an enjoyable movie. I mean, I still had a good time with it. After discussing this, I could see like a lot of like the flubs in it and stuff like that. But it was still good to talk about it with everybody here. But I've been Shane Sygiel. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you all in the future.
Well, guys, as you've established, this is my favorite movie of all time. No, I'm just kidding. But this movie is it's just not great. I mean, listen, I'm sure there'll be a couple of kids who will grow up on this one, but honestly, the kids deserve better than this. There are fundamentally smarter and funnier movies that are trying to do what this has done a lot better. You want to watch a good Minecraft movie? Watch the Lego movie. That movie is honestly trying to do everything this movie is trying to do, but 10 times more funny, 10 times more emotional, and just a lot more smart. Also, I'll never get over the stupid joke in the Lego movie where Lego Batman goes, "It's not like a giant spaceship is going to come out." Are you kidding me?
It's not like
I'm sorry.
Come out and see it.
My God.
My gosh.
Like, that movie is just trying to do everything the Minecraft movie is trying to do, but with a lot more focus and heart.
But you know what the Lego movie didn't have? Chicken Jockey.
That's going to be this movie's whole legacy, isn't it? But
Yes. My friend
internet memes aside,
Chicken Jockey.
Internet memes aside, I would still recommend you actually see this movie to have your own take. From what we've kind of said, our theater experiences were kind of fun. So yeah, I would recommend kind of giving that a shot if you're curious. But other than that, in terms of stuff that is coming up soon, our next couple episodes, we've kind of got a couple fun things in the work. Next week, we're going to have our Back to the Future episode come out with me, Aaron, and Shane. That was an Aaron thing that he wanted to get done for a really long time, and we finally did it. And that's coming out next week, and we cannot wait for you guys to listen to that because that episode was pretty fun. We've also got a Last of Us Season 1 episode in the works. I'm really excited about that one because that's a really good show. And based on how well Stranger Things, kind of how fun that one was to do, I'm very excited to kind of give more TV shows that same treatment. And I'm really excited to see how that's going to go. In terms of other tertiary stuff coming out, we have a Madagascar gameplay video coming out soon. It's probably going to come out in the next few days or actually live when this episode airs. So check our YouTube channel, linked in the description below for when that actually happens. That was a ton of fun between Aaron, Shane, and I. We crashed out multiple times playing a children's game made in the early 2000s on the PS2. And we can't wait for y'all to watch it. Other than that, I've been Charlie Robison. Make sure to check out our socials, the Double After Hours podcast, linked in wherever we find these episodes. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all under that same name, and YouTube, as we just established. Share us with your friends and family, like on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, all these goofy little podcast networks. We're on so much stuff, and we want to get big because of you. I've been Charlie Robison, and I'll see y'all next time.
And I'm Future Aaron, and I just kind of want to explain myself really quick, because I know I kind of vanished in the very beginning of this episode. Unfortunately, I had a family emergency come up at the very start of the recording, so that's why I wasn't here. But I hope you enjoyed the episode anyway. It was a lot of fun editing this one, so I hope you enjoyed it. And I know you're going to enjoy the next one, Back to the Future, which is coming up next week. So I can't wait for you to hear it. Stay tuned, stay subscribed, and we'll catch you all next time.
Thank you for listening to the Double After Hours podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to see a full list of our platforms, be sure to check out our page at rss.com, linked in the description below. We've got social media pages featuring highlights on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, with links below. The best way to help us grow is by sharing us wherever you can, or by telling a friend, family member, co-worker, or whoever by word of mouth. It goes a long way. Thanks for listening and staying after hours.
They want me to fight the chicken?
Chicken jockey!